Hi, and welcome to another episode of Karma College, a spot on our website where we try to answer your questions that you pose to us when you visit us here at our winery. I'm Bob, I'm one of the managers here at Karma Vineyards, and today our question actually came from a wine club member visiting our tasting room. He took a look at two of our bottles and he said, "Why are there different shapes on bottles? How come?" That was a great question. So hey, we're going to try to answer it here at Karma College. But before we get into the answer, a little lesson on anatomy. The anatomy of a wine bottle. So here we have, sorry for the drawing, not the most spectacular, but we have a wine bottle. And at the bottom, we have the heel of the bottle. That's what it's called. It's nice and flat, so it sets nicely on any table that you may place it on. The large portion of the bottle, this section, is called the body. And the body is where the wine mostly is. It slopes then on the shoulder up to the neck, and then at the top you have the lip and the mouth. All kind of body parts on the the wine bottle. But at the bottom of a wine bottle, you have this little indentation, and it's called the punt. You may wonder, what is the punt for? Number of reasons. One, when they were glass blowing, the glass blowers used to push up the bottom to create a flat surface and hide the seam where there might be jagged edges of glass to protect people from cutting themselves. It's also convenient to hold and to pour and to store. That's another reason we have it. It also is a great place for sediment to settle. So when you're pouring your glass, the sediment usually stays there in that punt area. But the main reason for it is because it adds strength to the bottle. And that's really important when you take a look at the champagne bottles. So besides the anatomy, we also want to give a little history lesson. Glass bottles haven't been around forever. So what did they store wine in before? Because everybody wants to take wine. You just don't want to sit in one place all the time to have it. Archaeologists have actually uncovered earthenware jars lined with beeswax filled with wine from 6000 BC. So they've used storage for a long time. They've used ceramic, terracotta, clay, ceramics. They experimented then with wood casks and wood barrels. The Romans found that the wood actually changed the flavor of the wine, and they settled on oak as being their favorite. But it wasn't until the 17th century that glass blowing evolved enough that they could start making bottles. And it wasn't until 1821 where the first patent was given to a company that had a machine that created identical bottles. So you can see wine bottles have been around, but then what about the shapes? Shapes of bottles are really about tradition. The shape of a bottle follows the wine. So let's take a look at some of these bottles, and I have four, the main ones really, in the wine world. The first is the Burgundy bottle. It was probably one of the first ones, and it came from, yes, Burgundy in France. I love this bottle. It's got a smaller body but wider, and it's this beautiful sloping shoulder and into the neck. It's a great looking bottle. And the wines that they grow are usually the Chardonnay, so it's put in this type of bottle. The Pinot Noir, you can see all the same bottles. And also the Rhone bottles, the Burgundy and the Rhone, they're pretty much similar, but the Rhone varieties, like the Syrah, they're all in this shape, the Burgundy bottle. But not too far away is the Bordeaux area of France. And that's where this bottle came from. They didn't want to have the same bottle. They wanted to differentiate it from the Burgundy bottles. So they created this stately bottle that's tall and slender with a smaller shoulder and a little taller neck. I guess it's the classic wine bottle. The one that if you ask somebody, draw a wine bottle for me, they would probably draw the Bordeaux bottle. And of course, it carries wine from the Bordeaux area. So you're going to have Merlot and Malbec and Cabernet Sauvignon and Cab Franc and even the whites like the Sauvignon Blanc, the Chenin Blanc, the Semillon, all of these have the Bordeaux bottle. So those are the two main shapes that you're going to see, but you also will see this Gewürztraminer. It's tall and slender and just a real sloping shoulder. And this comes from the Alsace region, kind of a spot between France and Germany. This is a Gewürztraminer, and Gewürz is put in this type of bottle, so is Riesling. And they usually have little or no punt at all. Not sure why, but they just don't. And then the last one is the champagne bottle. It looks a lot like the Burgundy bottles, but it's thicker glass, highly reinforced, so that it can take and withstand all the pressure that's inside of the bottle. So those are the four main. There are many other types. You have the dessert bottles, and they're usually tall and slender. You have bottles like port. You have bottles like Chianti, which is the wicker baskets from Italy. But they all kind of follow where the wine was made, and it's just tradition. Do you have to put those wines in the same type of bottle? No. I visited a winery, a mom and pop winery down in Walla Walla, and he did all of his wines, every single one in this bottle, because it just saved him money. Because when he was labeling, when he was bottling, it was all the same. So you know you don't have to put it in the same bottle, but it's tradition, and people seem to like that in the wine world. Also, it doesn't matter, it doesn't change the taste. So I can have any different wine in any of these bottles, it will still taste the same. So that's a little bit about why. It's pretty much tradition, and we hope you learned a little bit. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with another episode before long.